It is the appointed time for the September meeting of the Wood County Board of Supervisors. I will call that meeting to order. The roll call has been taken, or the roll has been taken by our county clerk. And at this time, I would ask Supervisor John Holcomb to please come forward for the invocation. I would ask the body to rise, and then we're going to stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With the official changing of the seasons this weekend, I found a seasonal prayer on the Tea and Theology website titled A Prayer for Fall. God of all creation, help us to gain inspiration from nature this fall. Like the trees, help us to let go of help us to let go of that which is no longer life-giving or helping us grow. Like the grass, remind us it is okay to rest and renew for a season before coming back alive and well next year. Like the migrating birds, send us on journeys to familiar places where we can be safe until it is time to return home. Like the animals preparing for hibernation, give us good food to nourish us and some extra rest in the coming season. Like the squirrels scurrying around to collect nuts, may we gather only what we need, so our needs are met and there is enough for others. As we watch the leaves fall and feel the temperatures cool, let this be a time of possibility for what this season can be, if we trust in you, Holy One. Amen.
Please join the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and welcome everybody to another gorgeous fall day here. We'll try to get you out of here expeditiously so you can enjoy some of that weather out there. First order of business is to take care of the minutes from the previous session. I'd entertain a motion to approve by Hamilton, second by Valentine. Is there any discussion on the minutes? Any discussion? All in favor of approval, please signify by aye.
Aye.
And opposed? And that motion carries. Thank you. As we move forward today, we have no resignations. We do have one reappointment, and that is a 3-year term to the Veterans Service Commission. Bev Galoni, again, looking for a motion to that effect, and I have Lightnum and Hamilton. Any discussion? Again, all in favor, please signify by aye.
Aye.
And opposed? And that motion carries. Do we have any public comment this morning? Any public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on. And then you'll see on your agenda acknowledgements and recognitions of the person who we're going to acknowledge and recognize at training again this month. So we will put that up to next month, and I think Trent said we'll give them their 30-year recognition before we actually get to the training. But we're working on it. That will take us into the packet today, and then we have a special order of business from the ADRC, an update at the end of the meeting. So with that being said, we will move forward. So the page 4 in your packet was the referrals from North Central Wisconsin Regional Planning. That went out to Supervisor Lightnum and his committee. And then as we move on to the committee meetings, the Operations Committee of August 20th on page 5 and 6. The Operations Committee meeting from September 3rd on 7, 8, and 9. And then we had the ARPA Ad Hoc Committee. This was a late addition to the packet. It was inserted. It's on 9A and 9B. And then we have an update from the county clerk on page 10. Monthly letter of comments from Human Resources, 11 through 16. 11 through 16. The monthly comments from our treasurer, Heather Garrett, on 17. And employee wellness on 18. And then that brings us to the first resolution in your packet. You'll find that on page 19, and it runs through page 21. If the clerk would please read the resolution.
This will be Resolution 24-9-1 to implement the general, county, and care facilities wage plans that have been revised as a result of a market review to ensure fair and competitive wages for Wood County employees not covered by union contracts and excluding elected officials and employees compensated outside of the wage plans. Fiscal note, none in 2024. If adopted based upon standard projections, the cost of implementation is approximately $1,888,000 in wages in 2025, a 5.7% increase.
Thank you. I have a motion by Zerflu and a second by Rosa. Is there discussion? Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, I would ask you to please vote. And that resolution passes unanimously. As we move forward in the packet, again, this was a late addition, and this is the ARPA committee and the funding there. We've had, I'm just going to preface this a little bit, we've had a couple of years of discussion where we've been very judicious in how we're going to allocate these dollars going forward. And I think it's been prudent to have done so because there's some big projects that came to light that needed to be done and could not be put off. After this allocation, we still have a fair amount of money to use, but we got a couple of big projects upcoming. We're anticipating certain numbers with the jail demolition of that project. We have a water issue up at the Northwood County Health Annex, Norwood, and we have the parking and some of these other things that are going to happen across the street. So the reason the meeting was late, but this resolution deals with what we have allocated. There's still some things on the docket. I'd ask the clerk to please read the resolution.
This will be Resolution 24-9-2 to approve the use of American Rescue Plan Act funds for the construction of Highway Marshfield Fuel System and Parks and Forestry Playground replacement. Fiscal note, $450,000.
A motion by Bry, and I have a second by Voigt. Motion by Bry, second by Voigt. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? I ask you to please vote. And that resolution passed 19-0. All right, moving forward, page 22 in your packet, it goes from 22 to 24 is the August 22nd minutes of the Health and Human Services. Timeout, what did I miss?
Page 21B.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 21B, stuck together with the other one. You know, I just assumed it was going to pass. 21B, I'd ask the clerk to please read the resolution.
This will be Resolution 24-9-3 to amend the 2024 budgets of the functions listed below for the projects that were approved with the American Rescue Plan Act funding. Fiscal note, no cost to Wood County. The source of the funding is unspent ARPA funds. The adjustment to the budget totals $3,256,679.
And I have a motion from Zerflu and a second from Schultz. Any discussion? Any discussion? I'd ask you to please vote. And that resolution also passes 19-0. I'm lucky I have a clerk that's observant. We have a WCA business meeting this week with about, 36 plus resolutions and 71 other county board chairs that would really call you out on that and give you grief. Thank you. All right, back to page 22, 23, and 24. That's minutes of the Health and Human Services Committee from August 22nd. And then we have same committee, their minutes from August 29th on 25 and 26. We have a monthly update from the Health Department, 27 through 30, pages 27 through 30. And then the update from the Human Services Department, beginning on 31, and that runs through page 36. We have the Veteran Service Officers report on 37 and 38. And then that brings us to the Public Safety Committee, their meeting of September 9th on 39, 40, and 41. And then we have some updates here, some news releases on some of the instances that occurred in the county here recently on 42, 43, and 44. We have the August report from the Sheriff's Department, begins on 45 and runs through 66, 45 through 66. Then we move on to the Seed Committee, their meeting from September 4th on 67, 68, and 69. Golden Sands Resources Conservation Development Council, various minutes of theirs from 70 to 76. 70 to 76. And then the North Central Wisconsin Tourism Partnership Committee, formerly known as ITVAC, but they tried to identify more closely with what they did, so there's a name change there. 77 and 78. We have the update on extension, pages 79 to 84. 79 to 84. And then the update from the Land and Water Conservation Department, pages 85 to 90. 85 to 90. Monthly letter of comments for planning and zoning, 91 through 94. 91 to 94. And then that brings us back to minutes, and we have the Judicial and Legislative Committee meeting of September 6th on 95, 96, and 97. And then there's a fairly long packet here of notice of injury and claims and some other information that runs from page 98 to 114. 98 to 114. Give you a chance to catch up there. And then as we move forward, we have the Child Support Agency, their update from Director Brewing on 115. Our Clerk of Courts on 116. Our Corp Counsel on 117. From the Criminal Justice Department, 118 through 122. And then from Register and Probate on 123. The Register of Deeds Office has their reporting on page 124. And that wraps up the reports for that department. And then we go to the HERC Committee, Highway Infrastructure Recreation, their meeting of August 20th on 125 and 126. Their meeting of September 11th, pages 127 through 130. 127 to 130. And then we have the reports from those department heads, or those departments beginning typically with the department heads. The Highway Commissioner, Hawks report beginning on 131, and that runs through page 137. 131 to 137. Update from the Parks Department, 138 to 142. And I was talking to Chad right before the meeting. He said the campgrounds are still open. Make sure you use them. Yeah, like a rainy season, but we have great weather now. Get out there and use our parks. And for those of you, just again, we're moving through this week. If you've not been up to Powers Bluff to check out the new bike trails up there, go up there and look at it. Even if you don't take your bike, go walk. Pretty incredible project that was done up there. I've had a tremendous amount of compliments from people around the community who have taken the time to go up and use that facility already. Property Information Technology Committee, September 5th, their meeting, 143 and 144. We have the August update from IT, beginning on 145 and it runs to 149. And then letter of comments from our facilities manager on 150. Central Wisconsin State Fair minutes, their board of directors, 151 to 153, 151 to 153. We have junior fair board minutes on 154 and 155, and call you out here, Brad, how'd the fair go?
It went very well. They don't have the final numbers in yet. I think they'll come by October. We should have the final numbers, but we should be as positive. It's a lot of people showing up, a lot of different things going on. I heard nothing but positives. We had a couple of people that had a little trouble. We got it straightened out. We're not, I think this will be the last year of the, what crashing cars together, what do they call that? Demo derby. Yeah, the demo derby, because that wasn't very well attended. So we're going to find something else for that day. Other than that, it was awesome. And a lot of people, I was there 5 days helping out, driving cars and running over people, it's just the things I do. So,
the weather was fantastic. It's a great opportunity, and as much as I encourage people to get to the parks, when you have a chance every year to get to the fair, do that as well. All right, anybody else have any comments on the fair? I have a lot of you have been involved forever, like Wayne here in front of me. Special. You want to say anything? No? Yeah, sure. Go.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, my wife and I attended several days, and as he had said earlier, the fair was very well attended this year. Of course, we had perfect weather, but the improvements that are ongoing at the fairgrounds are evident. There was a lot of commentary about this proposed building project. One thing that we should have done through the Fair Association, we should have had someone standing or seated by the pictures that they had up in Expo 1 to explain what was going to happen. I did do that a few times with people as I was walking through, and they were looking confused or making comments that this doesn't make sense. And once it was explained to them, they seemed to be more on board with it. So that's something as we move forward to keep in mind, and I will certainly bring that up tomorrow at our next meeting. So thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor. So you have a long history with this. I appreciate the input. Thank you. All right, moving forward in the packet, South Central Library System Board of Trustee minutes from 7/25 on page 156 and 157. And then we have the jail construction ad hoc committee, their meeting from Tuesday, August 20th on 158 and 159. And that takes me through the packet. Update from ADRC. I don't see anybody.
Oh.
I guess not online, right, Trent?
Brian, you don't see Mike Ray up there, do you?
He's probably doing jury duty.
Not.
All right, we'll reschedule that for next month. You know, ask to bring him in. We put the ADRC together, it's a lot of years ago. I was a lot younger. I don't think I had gray hair at the time. Oh, maybe I did. But anyway, it's been extremely successful in the fact that it has held the spend from the county. Trent, do you remember when we founded that? What year? 15 years ago?
Decades.
Yeah, a long, long time ago. And the spend has not increased. And this year, because some of the ongoing costs, they asked for a slight increase. It's not in dollar amount, it's not a big amount, but Mike was going to come in as their director and talk a little bit about, you know, what that need was. Like I said, from a dollar standpoint, it was not a lot of money. But we will schedule that for next month. Next county board meeting is October 15th. October 15th, and then this, hope to see you Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday up in La Crosse. We have the WCA annual conference. Hopefully the weather will hold. It's a great place. Donna, do you have any comment on
I have a comment about something
Supervisor
else.
Roser, go ahead.
So I wanted to make sure that you all knew, yesterday Fort McCoy hosted a challenge academy for legislators, and Senator Teston and Senator James and Representative Vandermeer and I went. And I don't know how many of you all are familiar with this, but this is an academy for high school kids at risk, ones that are getting in trouble, they're truant. And the interesting thing to me to learn was that a lot of grandparents suggest to their grandchildren that they go here. Sometimes the parents are very dysfunctional and things aren't going well at home. But there are only 20 kids from Wood County that went to this last year. And I talked to the sheriff, and I'm trying to get information out. I'll take this to the DA's office and do a couple of things. They can't take court-ordered kids, but they can take kids that the judge says, you know, it's kind of like the military. You go to the military and we send you to jail. This is kind of what this is. But if you all don't know about this, they're always willing to entertain people, and that's not the right word, but they're always willing to have people come to Fort McCoy and meet the cadets. And it's a quasi-military kind of thing where they go through kind of 2 weeks of boot camp, and then they go through this 6-month program. The Wisconsin National Guard actually are the ones that administer it. I met the registered nurse that does the infirmary. It's just wonderful program. And so I just wanted to bring it to your attention, if you know kids that might benefit from this, if you can suggest it to their parents, if you want to go to Fort McCoy and look at what they do, I was very, very impressed. There are some criteria. You have to be a Wisconsin resident because we do send some state funds, but the federal government also supports. It is a free program, so these kids don't even have to take shampoo or deodorant or anything. Everything is provided, and we had some testimonies from kids that this has turned their life around, and now they are productive, contributing 20-year-olds. I just want to make sure everybody knows about this. I've got lots of these brochures, and so if you want one, I'll be glad to bring it later. But absolutely a marvelous program, and we need to do what we can to help at-risk kids get in this to become productive, contributing members of society. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Appreciate it. Since we moved through this so fast too, probably should do this for staff as well, but our health department director, our health officer, Sue Smith, just returned from Seattle from a national opioid conference. And Sue sits on our state appointing committee nationally as well. So is there anything you wanted from that you wanted to mention there or speak to? I mean, I'm 10 to 10.
Yeah, make it last at least 30 minutes.
But I'll preface that, having Sue on those committees has gone a long way in us knowing what's going on with the settlements, as well as some of the rules, regulations that go along with those settlements. So Sue, thank you for attending, and floor's yours.
Thank you. I can't tell if this is on. I'll just talk loud. It was an incredible experience. The NACO opioid event wasn't like a conference. There was a couple dozen of us from across the country. We went to multiple different locations every day. So, for example, we visited the health department that is there. We visited a recovery high school where all of the kids are in recovery. We visited a mobile treatment unit that drives around and provides medication-assisted treatment to people who are trying to recover from opioid addiction. We saw a drug testing station where people bring their drugs up, they test it to see what's in it, and they give the drugs back to the people, and then they go use them, which I thought was interesting. We unfortunately saw someone overdose on the sidewalk while we were there, and somebody was close by that administered Narcan. So just incredible experiences overall. I have some really concrete ideas I've already brought back to my team, some things that I'm hoping we can do with the QHC when it is built, some design things to bring different services and more services together under one roof, because research shows that that is a lot more effective. So incredible experience. Didn't cost the county any money. NACO funded everything. So I appreciate the opportunity to attend.
Thank you. So I do appreciate when any of our staff and or supervisors participate in those opportunities, because the education that we bring back is really great. And I will comment that I do never want to become Seattle. I was out there not that long ago at a conference myself. Not a place you want to be. Is there anything else that needs to come before the board? Anything else? I guess with that, I will declare the meeting adjourned. Hope to see you all this weekend.